Hi y'all, my name is Marin Acey, and I am doing my presentation on stress management, which was perfect for me and the last week that I had. It was definitely needed. So to begin, stress management, dictionary.com states that stress is a specific response by the body to a stimulus as fear or pain that distributes or interferes with the normal psychological equilibrium of an organism. And in the book, Stumbo and Wardlaw explained that Hans Seeley, he was the first that studied the effects of stress on our bodies, and he's the one that is accredited for the fight or flight. All of us have heard of that phrase, and that fight or flight is when your body feels either fear, threat, or danger, and it'll go into that type of response. Something that I thought was really interesting between males and females was their responses to stress. He explained that males are more tended to do the fight or flight when they feel danger, when they feel threatened. But then there are females that when they feel that same fear or danger, they are more of a tend and befriend type of person. And the reason that is because we know mothers are more nurturing and are more tending and protective, and so that's what will happen when they feel that fear is they'll often protect and nurture their offspring. Some related terms that I thought were interesting and helped kind of understand more about stress management. I'll just explain a couple of these. Stressors are anything which is an idea, an action, a situation, or a person that causes or promotes stress. Stress management is the ability to emotionally, cognitively, and physically counteract the effects of stressors before, during, or after they occur. Distress is bad or harmful stress that a person finds disturbing. A problem-focused strategy is directly addressed to the problem causing the stress. So most time people seek out information, they make a plan, or they work through steps to manage that conflict. Emotion-focused strategies. These people focus dealing with the more emotional distress part of stress, which can happen in disengaging from their emotions, seeking emotional support, and venting. And then another one is avoidance strategy, which is avoiding the problem or one's reaction to it, such as withdrawing, denial, or disengagement. And those are all found in our facilitations book, which was really helpful to understand. All right, so what is stress? The human body reacts to events perceived as stressful throughout a wide range of adaptive responses. And I thought this was interesting. It says that stress is related to 70 to 80% of all diseases, which we can see as in those who have heart failure or have heart attacks. It can come from a lot of stress from work, or a lot of stress around them can cause that type of response. And there are three major categories of stressors. The first one is bioecological, which are those that have a gravitational pull. It's sunlight, electromagnetic fields, and it affects the individual's biological rhythm, which I thought was interesting because we know that sun and like darkness and weather can affect someone's behavior and someone's mood, but it can also affect stress in our body. The second one is psycho-intrapersonal, which it says that it represents a large majority of everyday stressors that an individual creates through his or her thoughts, emotions, and perceptions. So it says that it's not so much what happens to the person as his or her reaction to it fits it explains more how they react to it. And then the third one is social influences, which we deal with those every day, such as overcrowding, traffic, finances, violation from human rights, things such as that. So the purpose of stress management is to overall decrease our stress in our lives. But there's two ways that it talks about. It says to find appropriate levels of stress that allow for optimal performance and enjoyment. So being able to manage stress, because it is healthy to have a little bit of stress, but too much can cause harm. And then the second one is to reduce physical levels using both mental coping skills and physical relaxation. So these stress management can help every aspect of our well-being, the emotional part, the psychological part, the physical part. And it really is important that we understand how to manage that. All right, so I'm going to go over 3 different specific stress management techniques, which these ones I thought were really interesting, and I really enjoyed learning more about them. The first one is expressive writing. So expressive writing is a series of written passages that document personal events, thoughts, feelings, memories, and perceptions in one's journey throughout life. So that is writing, it's journaling, it can be poetry, anything that it gets you to write your feelings and your thoughts down. And it is a method of stress management and personal development, which can be both therapeutic and healing. I don't know if any of you have used this type of method of stress reducing, but I think when we write stuff down, it's easier to convey our thoughts and to get out what we are feeling. Some benefits of expressive writing are disinhibition, cost-effective, emotional expression, and there's psychological and physiological benefits as well. The second one is called guided imagery. So guided imagery is the use of mental images and visualization. So the skill of visualization involves the creation of images, scenes, or impressions by engaging one's imagination of the body's physical senses of sight, sound, feel, smell, and even taste for an overall desired effect. And we all, I'm sure, have used this when you hear the phrase, like, your happy place. Everyone, when you're stressed or when you're frustrated, everyone has, I think, an image of what calms them down. It talks about how there's 4 different types of guided imagery. So those 4 are pleasant imagery, physiologically focused imagery, mental rehearsal or reframing, and receptive imagery. So pleasant imagery involves invoking quiet, calm environments. The physiological imagery focuses on the functions of healing, such as visualizing cancer cells being eaten by a strong force. The mental rehearsal or reframing is imaging a task while in a calm state. So they give the example of giving a speech in front of a mirror, like before you perform the same task in a more stressful situation. And then receptive imagery involves scanning of the body as you do like reflective exercises. Some of the benefits of guided imagery are the human immune system is stronger. Pain reduction. A lot of people, when they have pain, use guided imagery to reduce their pain and to get through it. It improves mood, and it can reduce anxiety and depression. And then the third one is muscle relaxation. So, muscle relaxation is where individuals systematically contract and then relax each muscle group. So, the idea for this type of method is for the person to be able to sense and feel the differences between when muscles are tensed and then relaxed. And then they can, I think, understand when their body is tensed, when they are stressed, and knowing how to relax it and become more or less stressed. So progressive muscle relaxation has become one of the most popular forms of relaxation training. Some benefits of progressive muscle relaxation are reduced anxiety, improved exercise tolerance, and cardiac rehabilitation. So this type of method is used a lot for those who have heart problems, who've had heart attacks, and whatnot. All right, some benefits of stress management. 3 different ones that I had come upon was first in a study with first-year college students. Stress management was taught, and one of the benefit outcomes of it was they had greater adaptation to their surroundings. The second one was a study that was done to see the benefits of stress management awareness on individuals, and the author found that it enhanced healthier lifestyle. So as those who had increased their awareness of stress management skills and methods and techniques, they had healthier lifestyles. And then the third one was in a study where groups were involved in a stress management program. They demonstrated significant increases in emotional and psychological well-being, which, as we see all the techniques, a lot of them helped with anxiety, helped with their emotional and psychological well-being. So the intended clientele, a few that I think, for one, stress management can be involved in everyone. There's not, I think, a specific group that it's only related to, but those who more maybe have experienced serious illnesses and have chronic diseases, they need that stress to be relieved every so often as they cope and as they go through these illnesses. Older adults, because stress can cause harm more seriously than those that are younger and healthier, and then individuals with disabilities. This one can be a big one, as maybe someone who suffered a spinal cord injury or who is now an amputee. They have this disability that they are coping with, and they're going to have added stress. And so understanding what stress is to them and how they can decrease it is probably one of the best things they can do. All right, and then there are my sources. If you have any questions, just let me know. But thank you for listening.